Hi folks, welcome back to Hey Dad. Can you be forced to retire? I think we all know you can. And in an indirect sort of way, I think that's what's happening to me. Let's get into it. Okay, here's my story. About a week ago, I was called into a meeting online with my direct supervisor, and who shows up in the meeting on Zoom but someone from HR. I did not know this was happening. And so it was revealed to me in that meeting that my position was which has always been a remote position because the people I work with and support are scattered across my state. So I was informed that this position was being recalled to basically our main campus and that it was being redefined, and I had the opportunity to stay in the position if I moved to a small city 6 hours away. And I was shocked. I did not see this particular move coming. I had a very emotional reaction. I was very upset. I kept my cool, but it was clear, I'm sure, online that I was not happy. And I thanked them for their time and ended the meeting, and I broke down. You see, I had been planning for years to retire at about 63, 65, depending on how you define it. Like taking Social Security at 63 and then taking my pension at 65 when I go on Medicare. And, until then, I planned to work. Now I'm being told to keep my job, which I really enjoy doing. I have to move someplace where I don't want to live. I have to drag my daughter away from her friends in her school, in order to keep the job. So after some screaming and tears, I started calling my family. They are the folks I fall back on first, and telling them about the news. And that night I had a difficult time sleeping. What am I going to do? I've been unemployed before. I was unemployed when I ended my teaching career for about a year. And getting a job was very, very difficult. And so I am faced with a decision. I think it's pretty clear I will not be moving. So my decision has come down to basically, do I retire early or do I continue to look for work, which is going to be difficult to find? I don't think it'll be a surprise to most of you that there aren't a lot of companies or universities out there looking for 60-year-olds, almost 61, to hire. Okay, so the next step for me was the next morning after very little sleep. I had the opportunity during my lunch. I called the retirement department for my state, because I'm a state employee, and I started talking to them about my pension and what it looks like. And I learned something new. I'm really embarrassed to say this. I misunderstood my pension. There were some little parts that I didn't fully understand, but not misunderstood. I was just ignorant about, such as how my time is extended from when I was a teacher to now being an administrator at a university. So there's some holes in my knowledge that I needed to have filled in. But then I discovered a total misunderstanding of how my pension worked. So having worked for the state for about 25 years now, I understood it as I monthly paid into my pension, and monthly the university or the state paid into my pension, and it was like one pot of money. And that was my pension. That was wrong. I'm embarrassed to say I did not understand that it's actually two pots of money. The state has been paying into my pension, and they control that. And I have been paying into what is basically a 401k type of investment pool, totally separate. And I have full control over this now. It was basically money I didn't even know I had. I thought the money I had there was part of my pension, and the state was going to be the one to distribute that, not me. And I was wrong. So suddenly, I had more money than I thought. I knew I was getting close to being able to retire, but I had set goals for me to have financially in my savings and investments. And in my plan, I didn't have that available until I was about 63. Turns out I have it now. In fact, I have more. And so I was shocked and overjoyed. The poor guy I talked to on the phone was like, I'm so glad I could deliver good news to you, because I didn't know that I was so well set. So it turns out that this restructuring of my job and relocating of it is sort of a blessing in disguise. I think I have an opportunity now to gain my freedom from work and retire early if I choose to. But here's the caveat, here's the catch. Emotionally, I am not really prepared. I am not prepared to stop working. I had had it in my mind for decades that this is my goal, to get to 63 or 65. And now suddenly I'm looking at retiring at 61 and being worried about, now I have to take money out, not just put it in. Now I have to face the idea of not being busy. I have always been busy. I have always been hardworking. I have always been dedicated to my career. And now that there's going to be a hole there in my life that I'm going to need to overcome. And I'm not sure exactly how I can do it. I have in my mind, I have certain things that I do on the side, as in hobbies. I play piano. I read and belong to a book club. I play bridge. I belong to a fraternal lodge. I have my church. I have all sorts of places that I could start moving my time into. But I'm also in the middle of an adjustment period, just getting emotionally and mentally into this idea that I may not be working anymore. So here's where I'm going now. This is kind of the third part. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to look for a job, but I'm going to have certain restrictions on that. I'm going to look for a job that pays me about the same sort of benefits as I have now, or better. Let's face it, unemployment is slowly rising. Inflation is slowly rising. Companies are laying off. State budgets are being cut. And so it makes hiring someone like me, who might be seen as a little bit expensive and a little bit too experienced and probably a little too stuck in his ways. So we'll see. I'm going to look for a job. I'm going to refresh my resume. I've already started that. I'm going to start putting together some cover letters, and I'm going to look for a job. And I think if I don't get one by the time my birthday comes, in about 3 months after I'm officially terminated, I will officially stop looking and I'll retire. It is, I think, a process that I'm going through right now where I'm learning to accept that this is what I'm faced with. I've talked in previous videos about how it's been a driving force for me to always to want to have a positive impact on the people around me, whether that's my immediate family, including my daughter, or society in general, or friends and associates. I've always wanted to have a positive impact. So this is what I'm facing now, just in the last week, and I'm trying to adapt to it. And I know that there are lots of you out there who are in similar circumstances, and perhaps similarly are just tired of it, just tired of the grind. So I'm lucky. I do have resources. I did a good job over the last 30 plus years of saving. And I'll talk more about that on another video, but I wanted to kind of update out there into the YouTube universe what I'm dealing with now in this sudden and unexpected way, and what I'm driving toward now. So, wish me good luck, and good luck to all of you out there, and thanks for listening. I'll see you again.